Let me ask you something. What does success really mean? Money? Fame? A perfect life? Sounds right, but here's the truth. 99% of people get this completely wrong. And that's exactly why they never become successful. This is the story of a guy. Let's call him Ion. He wasn't a genius. Not a failure either. Just average. But inside him, there was a fire. An obsession. I have to be successful. Every day, he watched motivational videos, read books, made plans, set goals. But there was one strange problem. He never actually started. He kept telling himself, I'll start when the time is perfect, when I have all the resources, when I finally feel ready. And that was the lie destroying his future. One day, his friend Zion showed up. Zion wasn't smarter, didn't have talent or big dreams. But he had started something small, freelancing, tiny online gigs, nothing fancy. Ion laughed. Bro, what is this? This won't lead anywhere. Zion just smiled and said, I'm not waiting to be perfect. I'm just starting. Ion ignored it. Weeks passed, then months, then a whole year, and slowly things began to change. Zion started getting clients. He learned new skills. His income grew. And Ion, still planning, still waiting, still saying, I'll start tomorrow. One night, Ion sat alone. He opened his old notebook, filled with goals, dreams, big plans. But there was one painful truth. Not a single goal was completed. That's when it hit him. The problem wasn't his dreams. The problem was his mindset. He had misunderstood success. He thought success was about the perfect moment, when everything finally falls into place. But in reality, success is messy. It's confusing. It's uncomfortable. It's full of mistakes, failures, and uncertainty. And most importantly, success belongs to those who start, not those who wait to feel ready. That night, Ion made a decision. Small but powerful. Not tomorrow, now. He opened his laptop and took his very first step without a perfect plan. But what he didn't realize was that one small step was about to change his entire life in a way he never expected. Fire. That night, when Ion decided to start, nothing changed. No sudden success. No instant results. No dramatic transformation. Just silence. He opened his laptop, created his freelancing profile, and stared at the screen for a long time. The cursor blinked back at him, almost like it was asking, Are you really doing this? His heart was racing. This wasn't motivation anymore. This was fear. But still, he clicked submit. That one click didn't feel powerful. It felt small, almost meaningless. And that's exactly why most people underestimate it. The next day, Ion woke up and checked his account. Nothing. No messages. No replies. No opportunities. He sent more proposals. 5, 10, 15. Each one written with hope. Each one sent with doubt. Days passed. Still nothing. And slowly, that familiar voice came back. Maybe this isn't for you. You're not good enough. You started too late. This is the moment where most people quit. Not because they failed, but because nothing happened. Silence is more dangerous than failure. Because failure at least gives you a reaction. Silence makes you question your worth. Ion closed his laptop that night and leaned back in his chair. For a few minutes, he just stared at the ceiling. It felt pointless. All those plans, all that motivation. For what? 0 results. He was ready to quit. But then something strange happened. His mind replayed a simple sentence. I'm not waiting to be perfect. I'm just starting. Zion's voice. It annoyed him, because deep down, he knew it was true. Ion was die willing. He was just uncomfortable. And instead of running from that feeling, he made a different choice. The next morning, he showed up again. No excitement, no motivation, just discipline. He set a simple rule. No matter what happens, I will send 5 proposals every single day. Not 50, not something crazy. Just 5, and then something interesting happened. Around day 8, a notification popped up. Client replied to your proposal. For a second, he froze. He read it once, then again, Can you do a small test task? It wasn't big. It didn't pay much. But to Ion, it felt like everything. He replied immediately, yes. That night, he didn't sleep properly. He kept checking his work again and again, fixing small mistakes, improving tiny details that no one else would even notice. Because this wasn't just a task. This was his first real chance. The next day, he submitted it. And then he waited. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. No reply. That anxiety started creeping in again. Maybe it wasn't good enough. Maybe I messed it up. Then finally, a message appeared. Good work. I'd like to continue working with you. Ion didn't react immediately. He just sat there, staring at the screen, because something inside him shifted. Not confidence. Something deeper. Belief. For the first time, he wasn't imagining success. He was experiencing a small piece of it, and that changes everything. But here's where people misunderstand success again. They think once you get your first win, it becomes easy. It doesn't. In fact, it becomes harder. Now there are expectations. Now there is pressure. Now there is something to lose. Ion kept working. Some days were good. Some days were frustrating. Clients would disappear. Payments would get delayed. Feedback would be harsh. One client even rejected his work completely. That one hit him hard, because now it wasn't just about starting anymore. Now it felt personal. He questioned himself again. Was that first success just luck? Am I actually good enough? This is the second trap. The first trap is not starting. The second trap is doubting yourself after you start. And most people fall into one of these two. But Ion didn't quit, not because he felt strong, but because he had already seen proof. And once you see proof, it's very hard to go back to excuses. So instead of quitting, he did something different. He analyzed what went wrong, what could be improved, what did the client actually want. He stopped taking failure personally and started treating it like data. That one shift changed everything. Weeks passed, then months. Slowly, things began to build, not explode. Build. More clients, better feedback, higher payments. Nothing crazy, but consistent. And consistency is boring. That's why most people don't reach it, because they're addicted to motivation. But success is built on repetition. One day, Ion checked his earnings. The number wasn't massive, but it was real money, earned by his own effort. No shortcuts, no luck, just showing up again and again. He leaned back and smiled slightly, not out of excitement, but out of understanding. This is how it works. Not fast, not easy, but real. And just when everything started to feel stable, a new thought entered his mind, a dangerous one. What if this is it? What if I stay at this level forever? Because there's a hidden truth about success that nobody talks about. Getting out of average is hard, but growing beyond comfort is even harder. Now, Ion was no longer stuck, but he wasn't free either. He had reached a new level, and with it came a new decision. Stay safe or take a bigger risk. And what he chose next is where most people fail completely.